I'm going to do my speech today on the Olympics. I chose the Olympics because I've always found it very interesting. Um, since I was young, my parents have played it on the TV, so I watched them when I was very little, and I watch it now as an adult. I'll turn it on myself. The Olympics, I like it because it dates back really far. It dates all the way back to the 776 BC, so it was a very long time ago they actually started the Olympics. It wasn't the modern Olympics, but it was the very start of an organized game. Um, so the early Olympics, they have notations and stories about them with Odysseus. There's a story where he was shipwrecked on an island and he met the king of the island, and the king invited him to play in his games with running, throwing, every sport imaginable. And so that was kind of a reference to one of the first Olympics, even though it wasn't called the Olympics. Um, and also, the Olympics goes back to philosophy as well. The philosopher Aristotle, he sort of referred to the players without knowing it. Like, players in the Olympics were big about honor, and he said at one point that honor was something that people should not live for because it's more satisfaction, and satisfaction is more of an animal thing, and we're more complex than that. So he didn't really believe in living for that honor to win. So he definitely probably wouldn't be for the Olympics, but it does relate to the Olympics very well. And also, I got that actually from Making the Olympics to actually runners. But I got it from that, and this is a great book to read. It's by Barbara Goff, and so that's a good article. Also, the actual modern Olympics did not start until 1896 because it had died out, and then the modern ones decided to start it up because in the earlier period they used it to harmonize and to bring people together. They used sports to do that. So in 1896 they wanted to do that to be able to sort of bring that back, to bring that harmony back to everyone. So they thought sports would help, so they decided to start up the first modern Olympics during that time. And the Olympics today they're huge. Especially the 2008 Olympics was very big. It had over 11,000 people competing in the Olympics themselves, and then I believe it had 204 nations that entered it, and over 4,000 officials, journalists. It had 4.7 billion views, so that was huge, and 1.3 of those views was from Chinese themselves. So it's kind of like China viewed a lot of it, and a whole bunch of different parts of the world viewed a lot of it. So I found that very interesting because so many people are so into this, and I know the 2000 and the upcoming Olympics in Japan, that's going to be huge too. So I've just always found this to be an interesting topic. It's been around for ages. It's something that really brings people together. And also, with the sources of mine, the Olympics game, Social Science with Kay Toohey and AJ Veal, that was also a very good read. It has a lot about the Olympics. It has statistics. It has pictures of different kinds. This is more of a modern Olympics. You can see the rings there. It has that, so I like that a lot. And in this one, it has a lot of illustrations. And the illustrations here, it's a painting on a vase. They did a lot of Olympic ideology of paintings in the Olympics, and there's actually some pictures of a chariot that they were using in the earlier Olympics. This was before the 1800s, the earlier ones, and they have different running pictures as well as also the cover. Like I said, it has running, the modern and the older running. And then another source I use is the Olympic Turnaround. The Olympic Turnaround has a picture of a more modern Olympics with the torch, more of a something that was put in later. They didn't always have the torch, but the Olympic Turnaround with Michael Payne, it's also a very good source for the Olympics if you're interested. I also had an online source with the science and philosophy of the Olympics. There was a very good online article. It of the philosophy section of it, of how Aristotle kind of related, talked about the sports without even really realizing it because it was about the athletes. There's also a lot of statistics in another one of these books. I believe it's this one. It's the Thank You of the Olympics again. This one had pretty much everything. It was just very interesting. A very great book. But I wanted to speak about the Olympics, like I said, because it's a part of history. It always has been, and I hope it always will be, because it is important to have everyone come together, all these nations come together, the whole world basically come together, and I just found it very interesting.